Hey yo, so today we're gonna get our VR4 looking right. So as you see, she's in rough shape. She needs a little bit of love. So we're gonna give it a budget single stage paint job, but we're gonna do it the right way. We're gonna sand her down, we're gonna block her out. We're gonna make her look a lot better than she does. Eek, look at this thing. So of course, first things first, I had a little bit of rust I had to deal with up here. There it is, up in the hatch area. Use a little acid, wire wheels, some 415. We weld, we cut, we make the rust disappear. A little time lapse of us welding some metal into place. No big deal. We got this fender. This fender was smashed in pretty well. If you go check out my other video, you can see me hammer and dolly and repair this fender out. A little bit of body filler should be okay. And check it, see we're close. Put a skim of filler on it. 15.7 mils. That's not a lot of filler at all. So we stripped the paint necessary. I didn't strip all the paint because budget paint job. And we're gonna get her into some primer. Oh, the hood got totally stripped because it was failing pretty bad. And everything went into the House of Colors KDA primer. It's the first time I'm using this primer on an overall. It's alright. Let it sit in the sun for a little while. Blocked it out. You can see I've circled some dents. We need a little filler. You can see some filler on the car. And she went into feather fill and a final round of the KDA. So we do our final block in here on the hood. You can even see the lines that I made with the spray gun. Everything was blocked out to 600 to finish. We then sealed it with the same KDA primer. I mixed in some of the red to get the red hue to it. And then we hit it with the TCP Global Monza Red acrylic urethane. And I'm pretty impressed for the price I paid for this stuff. It's a good budget primer. Single stage. Shot the door jambs while it was raining out because couldn't do anything else. And then we started masking the car off for the big paint job. Now this is that special trim tape or whatever the hell they call it. This stuff is awesome around rubber moldings and stuff. It's tedious to apply, but well worth it. Car goes back in the ghetto booth. And we get ready to put our sealer on it. Now again, the car is finished out to 600 grit. See, we're going to use our finish line, the FLG4. I've had that gun for, oh god, over 10 years now. I'm going to tack the car off. I'm not going to be able to avoid the bugs and the trash in this paint job, but we're going to do what we can to minimize it. Car's already been wiped down with wax and grease remover. So we just need to give it a final tack. Now the spray booth I'm using here is just a carport off Amazon that I've outfitted with 10 4-foot LED lights. I got 2 at the top and 4 at each side. And I mean, it works a lot better than I thought it would. This is definitely better than an $1,800 inflatable booth. The only downside is I haven't got any fans yet for it. So, it is what it is. We'll tack our plastic off. I said we try to get every bit of dust off we can. And we're going to hang our tack rag up and start sealing the car here. I believe I'm spraying it at 30 psi, which is a little much. But, it's fine. So as far as the House of Colors primer as a sealer, I don't know. I thought I'd get better coverage out of it than I did. I ended up having to do 2 rounds of sealer on this vehicle. I mean, I'm also sealing over body filler, and we're doing budget paint job things. But so I ended up 2 rounds of it. It didn't look as bad in the video as it did in real life. You could still see a lot of those spots coming through after the first coat of sealer. But by the second coat, they were all covered up. And I was able to go into single stage with no problem. And if you're curious, I'm feeding this with an Ingersoll Rand compressor. No problem feeding these spray guns. And I'm choosing to shoot this late evening because of how hot it was out. I find the cooler I can spray, the better the paint jobs turn out. So I try to spray early morning, late evening. So like I said, I hit it with 2 rounds of sealer. I'll spare you the second round. There's no real need to show it. And so I've got the DV1 out, and to try to prevent the overspray, I'm shooting it at about 6-7 psi at the air cap. Like I said, I've got no fan set up for this. And that DV1's a fog machine if I open her up. So yeah, the finish is going to suffer, but I expect to be wet sanding and buffing this car just because of the bugs and dirt. So you see a little blow through there. Put the tape back where it was, and we'll do our outlines. I gotta say, I was pretty happy with this single stage. If I remember correctly, it was about $350 for the gallon setup. The only thing I guess I wasn't really too happy about is the flash times between coats ended up being, oh god, I think the last coat I waited 2.5 or 3 hours before it was tacky where it wouldn't come off on your fingers when you touch the plastic. And so, trying to do this in a driveway environment, you really want this paint to dry up a little quicker than that. By the end of it, I had a couple bugs that had decided to dance around in it. They're now permanently part of my paint job. But all in all, I mean, she went on pretty well. She stuck pretty well. Usually I get giant runs, and I really didn't get many runs on this one. I got a few sags, but oof, you got to see when I spray the DCU 2021, man, I run the shit out of that crap. But again, everything I do, I cut and buff, so I'd rather have the material than not. So we'll finish this up. Like I said, I think I've sped this up. Is it 300%? So about 3 times the speed it would have been. And so here we're coming on. I've skipped the second coat. It's a lot like the first coat. So we're coming in now to do our final coat. Now in the final coat, I'm more concerned with how it lays, how it's going to flow, that I've got no dry spots. Because this is a coat, this is it. How this coat lays out is how this car is going to look. Now you see, we're just inspecting. I think I've got a run down here, a little sag. I think there's one in the opposite quarter panel. But all in all, she's looking pretty nice. So you'll see this time I take more time. We're going to drag that wet edge all the way to the other side. Notice I broke it up over there at the trim piece, and I didn't go down the side at all. So if I do end up with any dry spray, I want to hide it in between body panels if I can. Again, we'll hide that at the quarter. And we're going to start outlining our fenders. I mean, most of this is pretty self-explanatory. You just got to do a few of them. You know, nothing here is particularly hard. Make sure you do your edges first, and then everything else is easy. We want to make sure we get our rockers good. Like I said, this is the final coat. Those disposable cup systems are absolutely amazing. The ability to spray upside down is absolutely amazing. I won't paint a car without one. I mean, I'll prime a car with a regular cup, but I'm not painting a car with regular cups. Only the disposable stuff. And that's the Harbor Freight one. They are, what, a third the price of the PPG ones I have. So I don't know if you can tell, but I've slowed down a little bit, and I'm really focusing on how the paint's laying on the car itself. I'm making sure that the wet edges stay wet where they're visible. And so you see, it looks like I'm getting a little low on fluid here. I'm going to end up stopping, reloading the gun before I proceed to the next panel. It's pretty important to make sure you don't run out of paint in between panels, like, you know, halfway through the hood or the roof or something. So now we're going to go onto the bumper. I've got a fresh batch of paint. I should be able to get around the rest of the car. You notice that first coat, I only used a full cup. Now we're putting it on a little wetter, a little heavier. I went through about a cup and a half doing this. Maybe a little more than a cup and a half. And I want to say those cups are quarts. So call it a quart and a half. You see, I keep going back over certain areas. I really want to wet this out, really want it to flow out nice. Like I said, I expect to be color sanding and buffing, but I want to keep that to a minimum if I can. She's a daily driver. She's not going to get, you know, not entering her in any shows or awards or nothing. I just don't want her to look like a shitbox, to be honest. So, as we're wrapping up, saying I think she looks pretty good. Yep, there's that run. You kind of just caught it. Looking down the side, checking how it looks. The next day, everything's dry. Fun begins now. I get to unwrap it, pull it out, let it sit in the sun all day. You know, we were in the 95s or so it got baked pretty well in the sun. You know, at this point, I could tell it was still soft. You could still dig a nail in it, but there's a little bug dance mark. There's a few of them. There's the rest of the parts, the windows, the wing, door handles, headlight, covers, all sorts of stuff. I sprayed this stuff with a different gun. I used my Harbor Freight touch-up gun, which I absolutely love for single stage. I sprayed it at about 20 to 25 psi, and it tends to lay the single stage out a lot better. Now I'm sure the DV1 would have done a great job too if I could turn it up, but this touch-up gun's always my go-to for single stage. Most stuff I do in single stage is going to be like rear ends, control arms, and stuff like that, so it's never a full car. But they laid out pretty well, much tighter orange peel pattern to this stuff. Be a lot easier for me to cut and buff if I care. So we powder coat some parts. Upon reassembly, you don't want to put old shitty parts next to a nice clean new car. Well, new looking. So I powder coat the wipers and the door latches. And we pull it out and we start the assembly. And she looks pretty good. I got a good gloss off of her. Nice and shiny. And that's what she looks like, all buttoned up. Take it out. Driving it out to a show. It looks good. So all in all, it's about a $600 budget paint job. This is what we started with. This is what we ended with. I'm saying it's quite an improvement.